Get down. Get the legs.
Got his arm.
On October 3rd, 2024, in Orlando Park, Illinois, a routine traffic stop near a funeral procession exploded into chaos. Instead of complying, the driver claimed sovereign citizen status and demanded payment from police just to see his ID, setting off a confrontation that unraveled fast.
I need your driver's license and insurance now.
I'm giving you my driver's license.
I need your
effective payment. I don't have no necessity to give you my commercial property without any reason.
Driver's license and insurance.
Data.
Driver's license and insurance.
How are you today, sir?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Okay.
I'm here to help. I stopped, or he attempted to stop me while I was in the midst of going my way.
After you cut through a funeral home and drove a funeral procession and drove down the median, yes. So I need your driver's license and insurance.
He just told you.
I just told you.
Yeah.
Is that a violation?
Yes, it is a violation.
Of what right? Of what
driver's
code?
license. Listen, I'm not playing your game
law?
for too much longer. Okay.
I'm not trying to play a
you
game
are.
with you,
Driver's
sir.
license and insurance.
I'm not looking to play a game with you.
Okay.
I would like to know do you have a bona fide claim?
Driver's license and insurance, or
I have no problem. Are you hearing me not refuse to give him my license? I have no refusal, but it is going to take a payment.
Okay.
Am I not entitled
I'll pay at the station.
Am
Let's
I
go.
not entitled to an effective amount of payment or self-determination? I can determine the value of my own time. I can determine the value of my own private property.
Okay, perfect. Now
Is
your
it
driver's
not
license.
my right to pick who is my authority? You are not authority to me. I'm just here to help.
Okay, driver's license and insurance.
I would love to give it to you.
Okay.
Do you have $10,000 effective?
Yeah, I do. It's at the station. We're not going anywhere. We're doing this. You're not going anywhere. The only place you're going is in the back of his car if you don't give me your driver's license and insurance right now.
I conditionally accept. Do you
Okay,
have a bona fide
step out of the
claim?
car.
Do you have a
Step out
bona
of the
fide
car.
claim?
Step out of the car. You're failing to provide identification. You need to give me your driver's license and insurance.
Why is it that I would give you my private property for nothing in exchange? Are you coming between me and my God? Are you not allowing me to serve God as authority?
I need your driver's license and insurance.
Is it that you are insisting that you are authority to me?
Driver's license
Are
and
you
insurance.
compelling me to believe that government was formed so that government could control people, or the people to have the right to control government? I must uphold my duty to uphold my rights.
Sure.
If it is that I violate those, then I may subject myself to your authority or jurisdiction. If it is true that you violate me in any way, shape, or form, then you all will be held liable, and the judicial system will uphold the justice inside of the meritocracy.
Are you going to give me your driver's license or not?
Do you have payment effective immediately? I'm not belligerent. I'm not combative.
Okay, then
but
get
I
out of
can't imply authority.
Okay.
Are you insisting that I must abandon my belief? Must I proceed without faith in Christ and faith in the goodness and faith in myself?
Your belief is your belief, but we have a job to do it, and we have the right to do it.
But it is true that I must uphold my duties, even if it is that you were to break my windows, pull me out, do me dirty, and get me in it. I would have this on record for the judicial
Absolutely,
system.
and we don't want to do that, and I will have that on record. We do not want to do that. We would like your compliance to the law.
I will let you know now on the record that you have been noticed that you all are racking up liabilities for
Okay,
the
I
time
don't.
in which that I am
I don't
staying.
care about anything you have to say.
If it is true that you all are going to beat me or something, or that's what you all intend.
We don't want to do any of that.
Brutalizing the vehicle, all of that is just going to be penalized and liabilities racked up.
We would like you to comply with the rules of the road. Where you're stopped for an offense, you
not-
produce your license.
I am not failing to produce my license. You all are failing to produce your payment.
Okay.
You're either going to need a payment or a bona fide claim. I'm looking to work with you all.
We're just dealing with a traffic violation, and you're escalating it to something other than that right now. And there might be reasons you're escalating that. We don't know.
But if it is true that you all are going to get ready to bust windows, oh, you just hit the car, all of these are going to be penalties and liabilities that you rack up.
You can take up what you want. We're just asking you to comply.
If it is true that you all are now about to beat on me or
Nope.
any way I
At the
have
moment,
right
we're
to
asking
be
you to
ready
comply and
enjoy
produce your
the world.
driver's license.
I'll give it one more shot. Last chance, okay? We've been here long enough. I told you.
Are you the highest authority here?
What do you got? What do you got?
Can you roll it down a little bit more so we could have a normal discussion at least?
Would you mind backing up, and I would indeed lower the window for this brother here.
Okay.
Would you back up so it is that I can have a one-on-one?
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
How may I help you?
Well, this officer pulled you over, so he needs.
May I stop you there first?
Go ahead.
He did not pull me over. I voluntarily stopped after he waved at me in the road. How may I help you? I'm a civil guy. My brother may need some help, or he may be looking to tell me, hey, So I'm stopping to see what it is that I may help him with. Please continue, brother.
So, he's stopping you for a traffic violation. Therefore, you are required to produce ID as a driver on the roadway.
Absolutely. I could understand that from that point of view. Now, can you understand my point of view? Because I study law and understand this stuff. Why is it that I am compelled to be in the democracy and provide and consent to a situation that I am not in my best interest? It's not beneficial. Why won't I shape the situation? Instead of saying no or denying him, why is it not that I make it beneficial for myself? It is my property. If he's compelling me to believe, hey, you owe me this license, I say, hey, okay, well, I don't mind giving it to you if you have payment for it because it's my property, just like it's my time.
But he's not looking to keep it.
But still, he's looking to do something.
So
with
why are you looking for money if he just wants to look at it?
I told him because it is something that has to do with law and on the record. If it is that I give him my property without anything,
but the law.
then it is
Okay,
that
let me
I am
stop you there.
implying
But the law also states you have to produce your license to an officer when it is requested for no payment.
Now, let me go ahead and let you know that is not law. That is indeed policy.
No.
These are called statutes and codes.
Illinois compiled statutes. That's
exactly,
what it says.
Statutes. These are for
That's
corporations.
law.
I have the right to uphold my inalienable rights.
You can uphold your rights. That's what rights are for you to uphold them. And you as a person driving on the roadways, you have to produce your ID when requested by a peace officer.
Now you understand why I cannot provide you with my private property. Because if I provide you with my private property and you run me and say, hey, this is what he identified as, this guy on this piece of paper has already contracted with the state to abide by these laws and rules. So guess what? I give you that, I'm going away because I did something wrong and I identified with who I was not. But if it is true that you don't know me and you cannot compel me to believe that I have some sort of contract with the state or that I owe you anything, then how is it that I must oblige?
As a motorist, you must oblige.
I'm not a motorist? I mean, that's a description. That's
okay.
Up to your,
so I think we are at the point, since I don't know your first name, I'll call you sir.
That's a reference that I typically let people go by.
Okay.
Especially when they're acting under color of law.
Okay.
So now I must ask you before you go ahead with your sir, are you intentionally looking to violate codes and statutes, federal, being deprivation of rights under color of law?
What's
because
going
it is
to
true that you are indeed now infringing upon
what's going to happen, sir, is if you do not provide your ID and step out, we will force entry to this vehicle.
I conditionally accept upon presentation of a bona fide claim. Would you like to pay for it?
No, I would not.
No, so it is that you are saying that you are going to take it? You are stealing from me? Or are you saying that you are coming after what you are owed?
No, we are
owed this license?
using it for identification. No one's taking it, no one's stealing it,
no
one's borrowing it.
How are you going to utilize my property for identification without me affirming my property as identification? I'm not looking to identify.
Okay, sir, what I'm letting you know right now is I think we're at an impasse to where you are not following lawful direction from us, so we will force entry into the vehicle. Is what I'm letting you know.
I am indeed agreeing to oblige to whatever it is that you need me to do.
You're not getting paid for your license.
But it is going to be a bilateral agreement. It cannot be a unilateral agreement, because if I allow it to be a unilateral agreement, then it is that you are going to be authority and you're going to have jurisdiction. So then once this goes to court, the judge is going to say, hey, this guy
is the bilateral agreement,
and the state was allowed to do
is the bilateral agreement you wanting money from us for your ID? Then what's the agreement?
We can have the agreement that if we presented 3 agreements so far. 1, the agreement that I am going to give you my license upon presentation of obligation, meaning a bona fide claim stating that I have already owed you my license. Now, if I don't have that, which I know you don't, the second option would be to compensate me for it in a way, shape, or form. Wherever way you may think is beneficial. hey, I can have you do this for me. I can have you do that. Just make it beneficial, or have the payment ready that I have affirmed for what I need for my time and my property. Or the third option was, I said you all can remove all these vehicles, remove all of your property, and we can go about our day.
We are at the point where you are now under arrest, sir, for obstructing. You are now under arrest.
Upon presentation of bona fide claim.
Step out so we can place you under arrest without having to damage your property. If you do not step out now, we will force entry into your vehicle.
I conditionally accept stepping out
Then step out.
and getting
Then
under
step out
arrest
now.
upon presentation
Then
of
step
a bona
out
fide
now.
claim.
To step out now
I
is right
also
now.
would like to put you all on notice now that if it is that you all intend on getting violent with me or aggressive, please do not mistake
We
any
intend on
energy
doing what we need
redirection
to do to effect an arrest.
You want to take your seatbelt off for us?
I conditionally accept being arrested upon presentation of bona fide claim. You are all going to be liable.
Come on, just step out. Just come on.
You just hit me in my dick?
You're resisting.
Wow.
Stop resisting and just walk out of
Damn.
Get down.
Just left out.
You all right?
Yep, I'm good. All right, let's get the cuff on him. Who's got the other cuff?
This is fun.
Give me a second set of cuffs. Wait, close, bring it close. We just need this other one.
Damn, I like white people though. Anyone never thought I'd be this black nigga.
Yeah, let's pull that arm out.
Just put your arm out.
You're hurting me.
Put your arm
All
out.
you have to do is let your arm out.
Put your arm out.
How about we get up?
Freely let your arm out on your own and we'll be able to get up.
Let your arm out, sir.
Can you not hurt me anymore?
Let your arm out.
Let your arm out.
Can you not hurt me anymore?
To cuff you, okay?
I think you guys should check on me, man.
Some zip ties.
Zip ties?
Hold on.
Zip ties is crazy work, bro. I'm not that
You've been
belligerent.
kicking and resisting the whole time.
Dude, anybody would do that. With 8 grown men coming to attack them.
No, you go. 1, 2, 3.
We'll get it.
Touch that one more time.
I don't want to go in there. Why y'all taking all my stuff?
Go ahead, sit. Get your feet in.
Get in there.
Come on, man. Get in.
I conditionally accept being under arrest upon presentation of bona fide claim.
Turn your feet in, bud.
I don't mind letting you all notice once again that you all are under collections for all of these liable damages, for not only to the car but to my person, for the time and consultation that I've given.
Get your feet in the car.
The sooner we can get you out of those handcuffs, all right? Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Come on, man. We'll get you out of those in a second. There you go.
Come in so you don't hurt yourself, bud. Wait, hang on.
All right. Tyler, do you smell cannabis in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what,
Fresh cannabis.
yeah. That's what I was smelling through the window right away.
I'll just turn in that one if you get out that way, just in case it might be a different person.
This was never just a disagreement over paperwork. From the moment a driver cut through a funeral procession, the situation stepped into a space where emotion, public respect, and public safety collide. Anyone who has worn a badge long enough knows this. You don't interrupt a funeral procession and expect the stop to be casual. That alone tells officers they are dealing with someone who either does not understand the rules or believes they do not apply to him. What followed exposed a deeper problem than the traffic violation itself. Instead of handling the stop the way millions of drivers do every year, the man behind the wheel chose to turn the roadside into a stage. He refused to provide identification, spoke in legal phrases that had nothing to do with Illinois traffic law, and demanded payment from officers in exchange for seeing his ID. That is not confusion. That is a deliberate attempt to rewrite how authority works in real time. From a street-level perspective, this matters. Police officers are not judges, and the roadside is not a courtroom. Officers are tasked with resolving uncertainty quickly and safely. When a driver refuses to identify himself, that uncertainty grows by the minute. Who is this person? Are they licensed? Are they wanted? Are they safe? None of those questions can be answered without basic cooperation. Every second of refusal forces officers to shift from problem-solving to control. This is where many people watching from the couch miss the point. They focus on tone or word choice. But the real issue is behavior. Talking does not stop a lawful process. It delays it, and delay, in law enforcement, is often interpreted as resistance. In this case, that resistance was not loud or violent at first. It was procedural. Scripts, conditions, demands, the kind of sovereign citizen thinking that promises power but delivers consequences. 36 minutes passed with the driver still inside the car, still refusing, still insisting the system play by rules he invented. At that point, the officers no longer had options. A vehicle stopped on the roadway, a driver refusing to comply, and no lawful way to verify identity creates a safety problem. The decision to force entry was not emotional. It was inevitable. This is the uncomfortable truth. Once a stop reaches that stage, it stops being about the original violation. It becomes about restoring order. And when someone chooses ideology over compliance, the system responds with force, not because it wants to, but because it has to. What unfolded next followed a pattern I have seen too many times to count, especially with drivers who subscribe to sovereign citizen thinking. The moment a person decides that a traffic stop is an opportunity to test ideology instead of resolve a violation, the interaction begins drifting away from anything familiar or flexible. It becomes rigid, predictable, and far less forgiving. The driver in this case was not improvising. He was reciting. Every phrase, every demand for payment, every reference to invented legal concepts came from a well-worn script passed around online. These scripts promise leverage. They tell people that words can replace compliance, that contracts can be formed at the roadside, and that authority collapses if you refuse to acknowledge it. On paper, or in internet forums, that fantasy feels empowering. On the street, it does the opposite. From an officer's standpoint, the refusal to provide identification is not a philosophical disagreement. It is a practical problem. Law enforcement relies on identity to assess risk, confirm licensing, and determine whether a driver can legally continue on the road. When someone blocks that process, officers are forced into a holding pattern. They cannot simply walk away, and they cannot let the driver leave. Time stretches, tension builds, and the margin for error shrinks. What made this situation especially volatile was the duration. 36 minutes is an eternity during a traffic stop. That length of time signals that verbal resolution has failed. Officers are trained to give reasonable opportunities for compliance, but those opportunities are not unlimited. At some point, continued refusal stops being passive and becomes active obstruction. The law does not require officers to wait indefinitely while someone debates jurisdiction from behind a closed window. The demand for payment to show identification was a turning point in mindset. That request reframed the stop from non-compliance into an attempted power reversal. It was no longer about refusing an order. It was about asserting dominance over the process. In law enforcement, that is a red flag. It suggests the person believes they are above the system, or at least immune to its consequences. History shows that belief almost always ends the same way. Throughout this standoff, officers continued to communicate clearly. Commands were repeated. Consequences were explained. Backup arrived not as an intimidation tactic, but as a safety measure. When a stop drags on this long, unknowns multiply. Officers do not know what else might be inside the vehicle, how far the driver is willing to go, or whether the situation could suddenly turn violent. Preparing for worst-case scenarios is not paranoia. It is survival. At a certain point, officers must choose between two bad options: leave a non-compliant driver in control of a vehicle, or take control themselves. Once that decision is made, the encounter enters a phase where words lose power. Procedures take over. Tools replace conversation. The driver's continued resistance only accelerates that transition. This is where sovereign citizen ideology completely collapses. The belief that refusal protects you ignores how enforcement actually works. The system does not need your consent to function. It only needs lawful authority and observable behavior. When behavior crosses defined lines, responses follow automatically. No amount of scripted language can interrupt that chain once it starts. What many people fail to grasp is that the driver had multiple off-ramps long before this point. Providing identification would not have ended his ability to contest the stop later. Stepping out of the vehicle would not have erased his rights. Those actions would have preserved options instead of eliminating them. By choosing resistance, he traded flexibility for certainty. And certainty in these situations is rarely favorable to the person resisting. Seen through a street-level lens, this was not a misunderstanding. It was a collision between ideology and procedure. The officers were not improvising. They were executing a process shaped by countless prior encounters that ended badly when hesitation replaced control. And once the process moved forward, there was no version of events where talking would bring it back. After 36 minutes of refusal, the encounter reached the point where safety and accountability outweighed patience. That timing matters. It shows this was not a snap decision or a temper-driven moment. Officers gave space for the driver to comply, repeated instructions, and made it clear what would happen if he continued to stall. When nothing changed, the situation became a risk management problem. A driver who will not identify himself and will not exit the vehicle cannot be allowed to control the stop indefinitely. Forced entry is never taken lightly, but it is also not unusual when a driver uses the vehicle as a barricade. In this case, Officer Hansen breaking the passenger side window was the practical solution to a problem the driver created. The goal was not punishment. The goal was access. Once officers could reach inside, they could open doors, control hands, and end the standoff before it spiraled further. That is how real street enforcement works. It is not theatrical, it is mechanical. The driver's continued resistance after entry is where consequences begin stacking quickly. People underestimate how fast a case grows once resisting becomes part of the record. A traffic stop becomes an obstruction arrest. Obstruction becomes resisting. Resisting brings more force, more officers, and a higher risk of injury for everyone involved. None of that requires officers to be angry. It only requires a subject who will not cooperate while the system is trying to regain control. Once the driver was removed and the scene stabilized, the situation exposed another truth that shows up often in these sovereign citizen encounters. Refusal is sometimes a cover, intentional or not, for deeper problems. When officers gained lawful access to the vehicle, the stop was no longer limited to the initial traffic violation and the refusal to identify. It expanded into what was actually present in the car. That is where the legal stakes changed dramatically. According to the information tied to this case, Antonio was charged with felony possession of a controlled substance after psilocybin mushrooms were found in the vehicle, along with possession of cannabis in the 100 to 500 gram range. On top of that, he faced a misdemeanor count of resisting or obstructing an officer. Those are not small add-ons. They are the kinds of charges that can reshape a person's life far more than the original stop ever could. Then there is the pile of citations that tell the story of the initial behavior and the broader pattern of disregard for rules. Overtaking a funeral procession is not just a traffic violation. It signals impatience and disrespect in a moment where communities expect basic decency. Operating an uninsured vehicle adds a real-world risk to every other driver on the road. Illegal transportation of alcohol and possession of cannabis outside an approved container show a willingness to ignore basic compliance requirements. Each citation alone might seem manageable. Together, they form a portrait of someone who treats rules as optional until enforcement makes them mandatory. This is where the sovereign citizen illusion collapses completely. The script promises immunity, but the street responds with receipts. The more the driver tried to control the stop with words, the more the stop revealed realities he could not talk his way out of. When the process finally moved forward, it did not just address the refusal. It uncovered everything that refusal had been shielding, whether the driver intended that or not. And that is how a stop that began with one reckless choice can end with a case file thick enough to follow someone for years. When a case reaches the point of forced entry, broken glass, and felony-level discoveries, the argument about who sounded right at the window stops mattering. The street doesn't run on clever phrases. It runs on outcomes. And in this situation, the outcome was shaped by one choice repeated over and over again: refusing to participate in the basic steps that keep a stop predictable and safe. Here is the lesson I wish every driver could hear before they learn it the hard way. A traffic stop is not a debate contest. It is a controlled process built around two priorities: identity and compliance. If you believe an officer is wrong, your best play is still to comply in the moment and challenge it later through proper channels. You can fight a ticket in court. You can file a complaint. You can hire counsel, but you cannot outtalk handcuffs once lawful authority has shifted into enforcement mode. Sovereign citizen ideology sells a fantasy that sounds powerful. It tells people they can opt out of obligations with the right words, that they can turn the roadside into a contract negotiation, and that officers must accept made-up conditions. What this incident shows is the opposite. The more the driver leaned into the script, the narrower his options became. The stop did not stop. It simply escalated into a higher level of control. And when access was gained, the legal exposure expanded far beyond the original violation, into possession charges and a long list of citations that will not disappear because someone claimed no jurisdiction. There is also a human element here that gets lost in the noise. Interrupting a funeral procession is not just a line in a statute. It is a moment of public respect. It is families, grief, and community. Choosing impatience there, then choosing defiance afterward, is the kind of chain that turns a bad decision into a lasting consequence. That is why experienced officers take this seriously, and why courts tend to view this kind of conduct as more than a simple mistake. If you take anything away from this, let it be this. The safest and smartest move is boring compliance, followed by disciplined accountability later. The road is not where you prove you are right. It is where you prove you can keep control of yourself when everything feels unfair. If this breakdown helped you understand how sovereign citizen tactics collide with real law enforcement, hit like, subscribe, and comment with what you think was the true turning point in this stop. YouTube thinks you'll love the video on screen. Click to watch now.